You know that feeling when you step into the woods and your whole body just drops? Your breath slows, your mind softens, and something deep inside finally says, I remember. Now that's not imagination, that's healing. Real, measurable, biological, and energetic healing. The same pattern that builds these trees, the spiral that shapes galaxies and turns a double helix of your DNA, is a pattern that brings the body back into balance. I spent years studying light, geometry, and consciousness. At first through the lens of a photographer, then through the science of fractals and frequency of life itself. What I found is that nature doesn't just surround us, it tunes us. So in this walk, I'm going to show you how the forest heals not through magic or metaphor, but through mass, resonance, and remembrance. I walk where the wild roots whisper, breath and branch become the same. Heartbeat learns the forest rhythm, calling me back by name. Stay with me, and I'll help you understand the pattern so you feel it working inside you. Every breath, every heartbeat, every step returning you to coherence. Let's begin where the healing always starts, with the sound beneath the silence. The first thing I notice out here is an underlying hum, not a sound I can point to, more like a frequency or a feeling. It's not the birds, not the breeze. It's something much deeper. Scientists at the Tel Aviv University have recorded trees making ultrasonic pops, tiny clicks that happen as water moves through their stems. Every tree is quietly pulsing with life. And beneath the soil, the roots are connected by a network of fungi, carrying nutrients and electrical signals. Dr. Suzanne Simard from UBC calls it the wood wide web. So when you stand here and feel the ground humming beneath your feet, it isn't imagination, it's an ongoing communication. Now, the way I meet it is simple. I stop, I breathe, and let that low, quiet thrum move through me like a tide. My shoulders start to drop, my jaw softens, thoughts loosen their grip. And you see, out there, listening isn't about straining to hear. It's about letting the forest remind my body how to feel. And all of a sudden, without even realizing it, as I'm walking through the woods, I stop thinking about my to-do list, the emails, the deadlines. They all start to fall away and dissolve back into nature. And your body's built on the same fractal wiring, and it knows how to listen. It's programmed to hear these sounds and frequencies, even when the mind forgets. Everywhere I look, the same pattern repeats. The way a branch divides, the veins lacing a leaf, a lightning bolt frozen in the sky, a river breaking into tributaries, even the airways inside our lungs all echo the same rule: self-similarity across scale. We call these fractals. They are not perfect copies, but a rhythm of repeating rules: split, flow, branch, repeat. So the shape remembers itself as it grows. And there's a number woven through that rhythm, phi, or the golden ratio, about 1.68. You'll hear me talk about this like it's a favorite chord, because it shows up where life needs to pack, spread, or share the light. It's obvious in pine cones and sunflowers, in shells and storms, even in the leaf arrangement around a stem. The way I explain it is simple. Start with Fibonacci numbers, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. Basically, you just keep adding the last two numbers to get the next. If you divide a number by the one before it, those ratios keep nudging you closer and closer to phi. Now, life doesn't always hit that ratio perfectly, but it aims for it because the spacing is incredibly efficient. In many plants, new leaves unfurl around the stem at roughly the golden angle, about 137.5 degrees. So each leaf catches maximum light without shading the others. On pine cones and sunflowers, you'll often count spirals in Fibonacci pairs, 34 and 55, or 55 and 89, crossing in opposite directions. The geometry isn't decoration, it's how life optimizes flow. And when I look up, I can feel the same intelligence at work here. The canopy branches, and then branches again, to share light with every leaf. Your lungs do the same thing. They branch and branch again to share oxygen. Your lungs do the same thing. They branch and branch again, sharing oxygen with every cell. Roots and river deltas, dendrites and thunderheads, different materials, same choreography. Now, the shapes don't make us identical, but the math rhymes. So, the forest isn't just beautiful, it's a mirror of our own design. The roots beneath resemble the branching of neurons. The canopy above resembles the bronchial trees in our chest. And the really cool part, when we breathe here, we complete a circuit. Our exhale becomes their inhale. Their oxygen becomes our next thought. Carbon and light trade places. Now the rhythm becomes a relationship. In Japan, it's known as Shinrin-yoku, or I prefer to call it forest breathing, because that's what starts happening the moment I slow down. Give it 20 minutes and the chemistry shifts. Cortisol drops, heart rate steadies, and immunity rises. But there's something deeper happening when we start becoming more coherent. When I'm calm, my heart rhythm forms a smooth wave. When I'm stressed, it becomes jagged like static on a radio. Out here, that static starts to clear. The trees actually carry small voltages, measurable millivolt changes that rise and fall with light and sap flow, like a slow electrical heartbeat. When we're near them, our own electromagnetic field, which the Heart Math Institute has measured extending roughly a meter around our body, begins to sync with the trees. You can feel it. My breath gets rounder, my shoulders drop, my thoughts stop racing. This is more than peaceful, it's participatory. The forest is offering us its rhythm until we remember how to move in time and harmony again. So when I come out here, the forest meets me exactly where I am. If I arrive restless, the wood reflects that restlessness right back. The wind sharpens, the light flickers faster through the branches, even the birds seem to chatter more urgently. But the moment I slow down, everything begins to settle with me. The air softens, the sounds stretch out, and then there's this shared exhale that seems to move through the whole place. What I've come to understand is that nature mirrors consciousness. Resonance isn't just a catchphrase, it's a law of energy. The stronger field always entrains the weaker one, which means the forest, in its steady coherence, is constantly lending that rhythm back to us. We don't calm the forest calms us. It offers its steadiness until we remember our own. As that happens, my awareness begins to widen. I start to feel the conversation that's always been happening here, between root and breath, between thought and breeze, heartbeat and canopy. It's subtle, but it's steady. Two rhythms working to find a shared tempo until mine can hold its own again. And that's what healing really is, our returning to coherence. It's the body and the field remembering how to move in rhythm together. At some point, without realizing it, the walk becomes a ceremony. Not the kind with candles or robes, formal words, but the kind that happens when you're fully present. Ceremony to me is simply the quality of my attention we bring into the moment. It's how we show up to life. When I walk here, the crunch of leaves under my feet becomes part of it. The breath moving in and out, the light filtering through branches, it all folds into the same rhythm. Scientists call this process entrainment, when your brain waves begin to sync with the cadence of natural sound. Monks might call it mindfulness. I just call it remembering. Because the truth is, sacredness was never missing. It's our attention that was. When we step into being fully present, everything falls into coherence, right down to our motion, sound, and breath. And in this coherence, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Washing dishes can feel like prayer. Sitting quietly with a friend can feel like communion. Here in the woods, walking itself becomes a sacred act. The holiness isn't something the forest gains, it's something we remember. And when we remember, every moment becomes part of the ceremony of being alive. Eventually, the path leads me to the bog. And I love this part of the forest the most. It's not quite land, not quite water. It shifts under your feet, alive, soft, and uncertain. It's a place of thresholds, those spaces in between, the pause between inhale and exhale, the quiet after something ends, but before something new begins. Let's think about it. Falling asleep and waking up, breathing in and breathing out. The moment between an ending and a new beginning. That's the threshold. These spaces aren't empty, they're alive with presence. They're where the dream and the waking world touch. And that's what the bog really represents for me. Life itself is liminal. We're always in between what was and what's becoming, between the known and the unknown. Most of us rush through this space because it feels uncomfortable. We crave clarity, we reach for certainty. But this in-between, this soft, uncertain ground, is where transformation actually happens. Down beneath the surface, the old is becoming food for the new. Moss and peat are quietly doing their work, breaking down what was so that something else can grow. Stillness turns into movement again, and what's dying becomes part of what's being born. And that's the deeper teaching here. The threshold isn't something to pass through quickly. It's the very place where transformation takes place. The bog holds both land and water, visible and hidden, life and decay. And in that holding, it reminds me of what lucidity truly is. Lucidity isn't about escaping this world or chasing a higher plane. It's about being fully conscious in both awake in matter, awake in mystery, and awake in the exchange between them. So I slow down my steps. I let the ground teach me to move gently instead of pushing forward. I let the silence do its work. The bog holds both life and dissolution, and it asks me to do the same, to hold the paradox instead of solving it. And that's why it feels so alive with possibility. When we stop fighting the uncertainty, we allow ourselves to feel the pulse of transformation itself, the quiet rhythm of becoming, still forming beneath our feet. Back on solid ground, the path winds into the old growth, and it's autumn now. The whole forest has shifted. The air feels a little cooler, the light more golden, and the trees, well, they've all started letting go. The trees don't fight the season. They don't cling to their leaves or try to hold on to what was. They just surrender. And in that surrender, they stay perfectly in rhythm with life. That's coherence in motion. When a tree releases, it isn't losing anything, it's aligning with timing. That's something the forest keeps teaching me. That coherence isn't control, it's resonance with the rhythm that's already here. Heart math research shows that when our heart is coherent, it generates an electromagnetic field, measurable a meter away from the body. Every living system radiates rhythm. And when you walk calmly among trees, those fields meet. For a moment, your heart and the forest's subtle electrical pulse sync up. And that's the peace you feel. One tree turning its leaves signals the others to follow. One coherent human can shift the energy of an entire room. So surrender isn't weakness, it's participation. Letting go isn't losing, it's what makes space for what's next. And when you move in that rhythm, when we release what's ready to fall away, our nervous system softens, our breath deepens, and our mind quiets. The forest remembers the pattern as we walk here, and our bodies begin to remember it too. You know, when I say the woods are healing, I don't mean the trees are fixing us. What they're really doing is reminding us, showing us what we've forgotten. The forest remembers the pattern, and when we take the time to slow down and listen, our bodies start remembering it too. It's not something we have to learn, it's something we already are. Every cell begins to hum with the same rhythm that's running through these leaves. Every breath continues a conversation that's been going on since before we were born. The exchange between carbon and light, between matter and memory. Healing doesn't happen from the outside in. It happens from the inside out, when we re-enter the rhythm that's always been here. The same frequency that moves galaxies is moving through you right now. The forest just makes it audible again. And when we finally feel that, and I mean really feel it, every step starts to meet something again. Every breath becomes an offering. You realize this life, this exact moment, is the altar. And that's all that's ever been asked of you, is to show up for it. So when you walk out of the forest, carry that awareness with you, because this pattern doesn't end at the tree line. It continues in the way you breathe, speak, listen, and live. If this resonates, walk this path with me. Subscribe, share it, or just come back when you need to remember. Let's keep tuning ourselves to coherence together. Before I leave, I'd like to close this walk with a phrase in Shavira, the vibrational language I work with. It's a way of sealing the experience like a tuning fork holding the note just a moment longer so resonance settles. Shavira elaren zai zen ram. Shavira elaren zai zen ram. When I say it's not a spell or a chant, it's a reminder that everything we've just experienced out here, the rhythm, the stillness, the pattern, it's all love organizing itself into form. This mantra serves as a vibrational seal, a gentle integration between the elements, the body, and the field you've just walked through.
I walk where the wild roots whisper, breath and branch become the same. Heartbeat learns the forest rhythm, calling me back by name. The pattern remembers, the rhythm forgives. Coherence is breathing in everything that leaves. The pattern remembers.